Welcome, Serious and Silliness Bodybuilding. This is Anabolic Academy. What's up, Anabolic Academy? Hope everybody is joining us. We are ready to answer some questions about bodybuilding and maybe talk about some stuff that happened, like Tony Burton dropping out of the Olympia, or maybe like Kai Green looking like a cheater on stage. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Or maybe C-Bum taking a piece of Gymshark clothing. I'll tell you, man, that guy could do no wrong. I don't know what it is about C-Bum, but that guy could literally, like, he touches anything, it turns to gold. It's unbelievable. My shirt, it is Beer League Warriors Apparel. The link to the Instagram where you can get one of these shirts is in my description area right now. Go down. This is a friend of mine. I did a podcast with him once before. He is a professor out of college, extremely intelligent, and he talks about a lot of gangster stuff. But he started gym clothing, and this is one of his shirts he sent me to wear. And what we are going to do is we are going to push his gym attire. So you go to Instagram, and it is Beer League Warriors Apparel on Instagram. Description, link is in the description. This shirt is like one of those, you get sweat free. It's actually really good quality. This is an extra large, so it's a little bit fitted. I have an extra large and an XL, but do me a favor. He's a friend of mine, and it's actually a very good quality shirt. Go in and pick yourself up on, and the link in the description, Beer League Warriors Apparel on Instagram, BL Warriors Apparel on TikTok. I'm pretty sure he has a website. I don't know if it's up and running now, but he'll let me know. But great shirt. Have not worn it to the gym yet. I think tomorrow I should be taking off from the gym. So I think on Wednesday I will be wearing this shirt for the first time to the gym. But let's get started on Anabolic Academy. So if this is your first time tuning in, what is Anabolic Academy? You ask me, John Livia, questions about bodybuilding, fitness, or anything you'd like to ask me, but it mostly revolves around bodybuilding and fitness, and I answer them. Where can you reach me? Well, you can join me live every Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. You can ask me a question in the chat. My friend Kenson from EP09 just asked me a question. He said, thoughts on Tonio dropping out of the O. Okay, we're going to get to that. But how else can you reach me? Serious and Silliness on Instagram. John Livia on TikTok. John Livia on Facebook. You could also email me, UncleJohn1201@gmail or John_Livia@Yahoo. Now, my thoughts on Tonio dropping out of the O. I think Kenton, correct me if I'm wrong. He dropped out because he thinks he needs to put on more size, right? Because I think he really wants to be extremely competitive and possibly break the top 6 or top 5 next year. If that's the case, yeah, it's a good idea because his shape, his flow, his muscle separation, and his conditioning is always on point. If he could put another 5-10 pounds of muscle on by next year, you're talking about a man that could possibly win any show he lays his foot on stage, right? He is a genetic freak when it comes to his symmetry, his balance, his proportions, his X-frame. He is a truly talented bodybuilder. More size, and his coach is keeping his health in check. Yes, I fully agree that if he puts on 5 to 10 pounds, he could probably be a Arnold Classic winner, Arnold Classic Ohio winner. I truly believe that. And he could possibly break the top 6 in the Olympia. So he's a young man. I don't think he is going to have a problem with his waist blowing out. He's got a very small waist with great lines and great abs. So I think I think it's a good decision because he's also a very young guy, right? I mean, if he wanted to do the Olympia and just, do a show late to qualify next year, he probably would have broke the top 10 again this year. But I think he wants to be a lot more competitive because he did the New York Pro this year, if I'm right, and I think he came in third behind Martin Fitzwater and Nick, and those guys were just too big. They were just too much bigger than he was, right? That's his drawback. So if he could put 5 or 10 pounds on, yeah, good idea. Johnny Ruse started TRT. Okay, very cool. Are you self-medicating, or did you actually go to a doctor, Johnny Ruse? Because TRT, if you are over the age of 40 and going to the doctor and getting your blood work done, is extremely smart, intelligent, and very healthy. I, on the other hand, am a hypocrite, and I do it the old-fashioned way. I don't know what you want me to tell you, okay? I'm a fucking honest guy. That's the way it goes. All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. We need some questions. Where are our questions? Our first question is from SI Red 425. Do you avoid drinking water before competitions? Well, when I was competing, that was the consensus. You would cut your water, right? Like the week before contest, you would drink 2 gallons of water up until, I believe, 3 days before. Then the second day, you would drink 1 gallon. The 1 day before, you would just sip on water up until about I think 12 o'clock that afternoon, and then you wouldn't drink any more water, and then you would take a diuretic, Diazod. But now I understand that a lot of guys aren't cutting their water. Personally, I think it depends on the person. Some guys probably need to cut their water. Other guys probably don't need to cut their water. I think it all depends on the person. And so that's why it's very important for your coach to know how your body works, for you to know how your body works, because everybody operates a little bit different. But yes, I used to cut my water. And I never did a show without cutting my water, so I don't know if it would have been better with or without it. Thoughts on Kai Green's posing? I think it's stupid, man. I'm not into that whole artsy thing. Bodybuilding to me is supposed to be fucking barbaric. You're supposed to go to a bodybuilding show and see a guest posing like Akeem Williams or fucking Nick Walker and be like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that? And then they're supposed to fucking have some hardcore music, pose, jump into the audience, and everybody's supposed to be in awe of their off-season size, right? To me, that's what guest posing is. This whole thing of paint. I don't know what the hell he looked like. I think he was trying to look like that guy from Star Wars, the Emperor. Oh, I don't know, because he had the whole coat on. I'm not into that artsy stuff, man. You got to go ask somebody who's artsy. I'm not into that stuff. I think it's pathetic. I think it's stupid. I think he's trying to stay relevant. He's not relevant anymore. I mean, God knows how much they paid him. Who the fuck? God knows. I mean, Jesus Christ, you give me half the amount of money, I could fucking paint myself and look like a Smurf and go fucking guest pose. It's retarded. Whatever. I'm just not into it. Johnny Roots, 46 years old, doctor prescription. All right, very cool, man. Yeah, you're going to feel a million times better. You'll feel better in the gym. You'll feel more energetic. It's very cool. Let's see. Let's go to the Fran is the man. First question from Fran is the man. What's your thoughts of Bob after the interview, and did it affect your friendship with Phil after the interview? Well, I thought Bob had a lot of good points. Kai was legit wearing a shower curtain. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't get it either. Yeah, it's crazy. And it was an IFBB Elite show. I chose not to cover it on my video today. Yeah, man, I'm just talking about it because people are asking, but it's I don't know. I'm just not into that artsy thing. But Kenson has a great podcast. If you guys go to EP09, he's honestly, he's better than Nick Strength and Power. He has the same type of podcast where he gives you the news. Personally, I think he does a better job than Nick Strength and Power. Not because he's my friend. Yeah, because he's my friend. All right. But yeah, I think he does a better job. I'm going to plug this shirt again. Beer League Warriors Apparel, the link is in the description. Go get yourself one of these shirts. Great quality shirt, very reasonable price. It's on Instagram, Beer League Warriors Apparel. He's a friend of mine. Do me a favor, go and buy one of his shirts, man. He's just starting out, putting out a gym clothing, and we all know how competitive it is, how competitive gym clothing is. So if I can help out a friend, please go and buy a shirt. Go check out his Instagram, Beer League Warriors Apparel. It's in the description, the Instagram. Okay. Yeah, Bob. When I talked to Bob had a lot of good points. Look, Phil and his wife, to me, are amazing people. I will never have any resentment toward them ever. I will never say anything bad about them. There is nothing bad to say about them. Did I think how Phil went along, how he reacted after his last couple of contests? I wouldn't have done it that way. But, because he was a friend, I let him and his wife have the mic. When they said, my wife wants to come on, I said, yeah, go right ahead. When they made valid points, I said the valid points. When I, about the athletes rep. Now, Bob had a lot of valid points, especially when it comes to politics and bodybuilding. What happened last year has nothing to do with what happened this year, so on and so forth. And when he brought up those points that I never thought of before, they were valid. And I'm not going to disrespect somebody who's been in the business for 30 years and knows a lot more that goes on behind the scenes than I do. Whether you think he's sincere or not, whether you like him or not, I don't have a personal vendetta against Bob. When he came on, he was very nice. We spoke afterwards. We spoke the next day. He was really cool with me. So I never had a problem with him. And anybody who treats me with respect, I'm going to treat them with respect. So I let him speak his mind. And the points that he came on were valid. And they really, Phil and his wife didn't like it. And that's fine. They don't have to like the fact that I didn't defend them as much as they wanted me to. Although I did give them the microphone so they could speak their mind, the week before. And it was basically, I dedicated Muscle Talk, one episode of Muscle Talk for them. And they were able to, the entire hour was them talking about how they felt after the Texas Pro and the Chicago and Tampa rather. And when I had Bob on, I basically just let him speak his mind as well. Phil and Patty are great people. They do not want to have a relationship with me anymore, which is fine. I don't have any animosity toward them. If Phil called me tomorrow, I would call him. I would talk to him like nothing happened, because I've always will consider him a friend, because he was there for me when I needed him, and I will never deny that. When I needed somebody to come on and host a show with me, he stepped up and he did. He even got Dorian to come on, Dorian Haywood, and I will never forget that, and I will forever be grateful for it. So that's that. You got it, bro. EP09. No problem, man. Let's see. Bend the Train. Who's got a pedophilic? All right. All right. That's not very nice. Mogged your wife. You don't even know. I don't even know what mogged means. What the fuck does that mean, Ben? Who's got a better physique, Marco Lobliner or John Livia? I will be the first to say that Lobliner does. Okay, he's a professional bodybuilder. I've never turned pro, so of course he does. Let's see. Next question from Fran is the man. Where are you, Mr. Fran is the man? There we go. Do you plan on inviting Shawn Ray next to your podcast after getting Bob on your show? I've reached out to Shawn Ray a couple of times on his Instagram. He's got a huge following. He probably doesn't check his DMs, but I would love to get Shawn Ray on my show, because the first bodybuilder I ever saw in a magazine as a kid was him. And I remember it. He had no shirt on, and he was leaning up against a Ferrari or a Corvette. And this was back before he was bald. He was rocking the flat top, and it was big in the early 90s. And I remember looking at him going, wow, that's what I want to look like. And of course, That never happened. I never looked like Shawn Ray, but he was the guy that I looked at, and I was like, "Wow, he looks incredible." So I was a fan of Shawn Ray from those magazines and whatnot. I would love to have him on. I know he's not the most likable guy in the industry, but I don't care. I would still have him come on, and I would still treat him with respect. As long as he treats me with respect, I will treat him with respect. And I never had the. I actually did meet him one time. I was a kid. It was the first time I ever went to the Olympia, and he would competed in it. And I shook his hand, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he was just cool as shit. If anybody does know him and wants to ask him, I tell him to check his DMs. I did message him. Oh God, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times. But we're talking, a couple of years ago. I mean, the guys, look, you cannot like Shawn Ray, but the guy's still a fucking legend. It doesn't matter. All right. Next question from Fran is man. Fran, first of all, thank you for sending me these questions, dude. Really, really fucking means a lot. All right. It really does. What was your friend? Okay. All right. Big Mike in the house. Mike has if you guys are motorcycle advocates, if you guys love Harley Davidsons, go to Mike's podcast. Okay. He also he goes live every day. We did a podcast together. He came on my other show, Series of Outcast, and we spoke about his channel. We spoke about his life. He was in one of the largest motorcycle clubs in the world at one point, that started in Brazil. I don't remember the name of it, Mike. And his channel is, let me give you his channel. I believe it's Insane. Help me out here, Mike. It's Insane. Yeah, we did have a good chat, man. Your channel is, let's see. I apologize, man. I get yours and Hollywood's mixed up. Insane Wheels. Mike Ball, Insane Wheels. It is he does the news, world news, and he also goes deep into motorcycle stuff. And this was the MC that he was in, the Insanos MC, came out of Brazil, like literally, but as far as numbers, I believe it's probably the biggest in the world, if I'm wrong. And yes, here it is, Insane News. The guy has a great show. He goes on every morning. I believe, it's 11 o'clock. Yes, because I'm always able to click in and watch, because at 11 I take my lunch every day. So it's 11 o'clock Eastern, but I think it's 10 because he's in Central Time. But great show, Mike. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Let's see. Right. Fran is the man. We did that. Shawn Ray. What was your more memorable show? Your first or last show you competed in? I would probably have to say the first. Man, you got to understand, like, it was 1999. I was 23 years old. Bodybuilding was so hot. Ronnie Coleman was a household name. Like, it's not like now where you could ask your friends who's Derek Luntz. I have no clue. All my friends knew who Ronnie Coleman was. 90s bodybuilding was just, it was just the golden era. And anytime you have, like, the top part is doing great, it trickles down, right? So, like, for example, when wrestling was great in the 90s, the independent circuits were really doing well as well. Well, the NPC was doing really well. I mean, there were guys in shows like nobody's business. And I never did a show before, and I just decided that I was going to do it. I had a couple of friends helping me, Ronnie Brown, and then Cassie Hornbuckle, and then a little bit of shit. I can't remember his name. I don't remember the other guy's name, but the majority of it was Cassie Hornbuckle and Ronnie Brown were helping me. And I remember I went out. I think I was a middleweight, so I was less than 171 pounds, and I had good conditioning and I had good shape, and I actually won my class. And it was a great year for me, because that year I graduated college, even though it was just a community school, but I graduated college and I won my first bodybuilding show. And Staten Island is a very small place. So I remember, I went into a diner and I was I was in a urinal in a diner. I was like in the bathroom in the diner taking a pee, and the guy next to me was like, "Oh, didn't you win Mr. Staten Island?" I was like, "Yeah, well, I won my class. I didn't win the whole thing, but I would have to say that one. The last one was fun too. Don't get me wrong; I mean, they were all memorable, but the first one was something else, man. It was really cool. Um, do you have any idea how you fixed the lighting at show? Oh, dude, I have no idea. I don't know why they don't coordinate. Seriously, this hat is getting in the way every time I want to drink my drink. I don't know why they don't coordinate. Like, there are shows where the lighting is fantastic, and then there are shows where the lighting is shit. This week, Italy, the lighting was crap. Okay. I don't know why the promoter doesn't contact the promoter whose show's lighting was fantastic, and go, "Hey, how do you get your lighting so great?" Like, I don't think it's very difficult. But what I do think is, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think they really. I think they use the lighting that's on that stage. I mean, any NPC show I've done or I've seen or went to, that's what it was. Whatever lighting was in that theater, that's what they used. So, I mean, well, I did the last show I did in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Grand Prix in 2014. The lighting was shit. I mean, we literally looked like silhouettes. It was fucking horrible. I honestly think that if Bob Ciccarello wants to step up as the athletes rep, he should coordinate with the IFBB, and they should be, like, set up one live stream, right? And maybe, I'm all right. So yeah, all right. Ciccarello doesn't really have to do this. He's the athletes rep, but the IFBB should have one live stream for every show. Maybe a portion of it goes to the promoter or whatever the case may be. So we all know, instead of searching the day before, where the fuck is this live stream? And then a piece of it goes to the IFBB, piece of it goes to the promoter. So so the people know exactly where to go. They should use the same people lighting. Like, it should be bodybuilding lighting specialist, if you will. Right? I mean, I'm guessing, man. These things are always harder than it seems, right? Behind closed doors, but it can be done. The human race has figured out more difficult things than how to get the lighting right on the bodybuilding show. I'm sure they could figure this out, right? Yes. It's the largest MC in the world. Okay. What is this? Natty Gang, I can't believe Phil Clahar and his wife bailed on you. You were only one even sticking up for him. Look, man, it happens. All right, dude. I mean, look, I'm 48 years old. We are going to go through life, and there are going to be people that that are more sensitive than others. There are going to be people that react. There are going to be people that have more morals than others, different morals rather. And some people believe that, if you are my true friend, I have to stick by you through thick and thin, no matter what, even if it's wrong, which I kind of agree. But now you're putting me in a position where I have a podcast and I have to interview people, and I have to be reasonable when I interview people. So if Bob comes up with really good points, which he does, then I have to agree. And it's not like I didn't defend him. I just didn't go hard at him, right? I said things like, I can understand why he was offended. I said things like, I understand both sides of the story, whatever the case may be. But I'm not, again, I'm not going to disrespect somebody who didn't disrespect me. The only person I ever disrespected was Low Bliner. I've said this a million times. And that was because he disrespected me. That was it. That's the only reason why. I'm never going to have a person on my bodybuilding channel who I'm not respectful to. If he's respectful to me, it's just, it is what it is. My theory is to have IFBB mandated light strength, angle, distance, number of light. Okay, yeah. I mean, I pretty much said the same thing, without being so articulate. I said bodybuilding lighting specialists, which is mandated by the IFBB with light strength, angle, distance, number of lights, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure they could figure it out. You know what it is, man? When a company is making money, and when a company is the only, let's face it, the IFBB is the only people on the block hiring, if that makes sense. If I have a trucking company and I need truck drivers, and I'm the only truck driving company in the world, I say either you work for me or you don't have a job. Then I'm going to pay you minimum wage. And when you have a complaint, I'm going to be like, well, it's really not hurting my pocket. So can't help it. I'll get to it when I get to it. So the IFBB is the only person on the block. They're making their money. They're a business. And getting to problems like lighting is the last thing on their list because they don't have any competition. Competition breeds better products. Period. End of story. Okay. All you have to do is look at WWE or WWF at the time and WCW. And when they were going at it, each other in wrestling years ago in the 90s, when they were going back and forth and nobody knew what to watch. Should I watch Raw or should I watch WCW? Man, that's why that time period of wrestling was fantastic, because both sides were trying to come up with stories, better characters, better things done in the ring, craziest stunts. And if you're the only person on the block, the only person that there's tickets available to, the only person that can hire somebody, you're the only, then things get dull. That's just the way it goes. That's the way it is, unfortunately. That's why capitalism is the best system we have, because within capitalism, you're able to be competitive. That's why we have a no monopoly law, so on and so forth, so that you're able to be competitive. And when there is competition, people step up to the plate because we have to win. And the other side says we have to win. And that's why you go back and forth. Another thing, we just got through an American muscle car era. Who could produce the best muscle car? Obviously, Chrysler won that. Okay, Dodge, whatever you want to call it, with the Challenger and the Charger. But I mean, Ford was really taking it to town with the Mustang and the Shelbys, and the GM had the Vets that came out, and they kind of had the C8 Corvette, the C7. They redesigned it, and it was amazing. And now that era is over. But because of all those three, fighting for that, the American muscle car spot, you had great vehicles that were coming out, man. I had a C7 Corvette and I had a Dodge Charger, and I love both of them for different reasons. But if you don't have competition, then you're going to get a bland product, and that's what the IFBB is, a bland product. That's really it. All right, next question from Fran is the man. Okay, I gotta looky here. Who should be the next athlete's rep if Bob decides to step down? It should be voted on. The IFBB athletes should vote on it, just like any other representative. People should run. You say, okay, Bob is stepping down from being the athlete's rep. He steps down. Then whoever wants to run goes in. Let's say whoever wants to do it. Lee Priest, Dave Palumbo, me. I don't want the job, believe me. And then people vote on it. You could do it online, for fuck's sake. And that's who should get it. Okay. Next question from Fran is the man. This is actually the last question, Fran. If Kamala Harris promises to legalize anabolic steroids, would you vote for her in this election? Okay, that brings us to the thumbnail. No, I wouldn't vote for Kamala Harris if my life depended on it. Okay, I just wouldn't. Now, here's the thing. Some anabolic steroids are legal with a prescription and a cause. We just heard somebody, they don't call it anabolic steroids, okay? We just heard somebody say TRT, injectable testosterone. Synthetic testosterone is a steroid. It is an anabolic steroid. If you have low testosterone and you go to a doctor and you get a prescription, it is fully fine. It is legal. It's no problem. Same thing with growth hormone. The only thing is growth hormone, you don't need a prescription. You have to go to a clinic and pay out of pocket. The only way you could use growth hormone from a prescription is if you have a growth problem. One of my best friends at work, Corey, his youngest son, he's got 2 boys. His youngest son always had a growth problem. He was shorter than the average kid. And the kid was prescribed growth hormone. And he jumped up in height. Boom. Okay. Things like that. Anavar is prescribed for, weight gain. I believe age patients use it to maintain muscle and weight and so on and so forth, to put on muscle and weight. They don't call it Anavar. They call it by the actual name, which is, oh God, I don't remember the medical terminology for it. I'm going to look it up now. And it is, the medical terminology is, Jesus Christ, man. Type faster. Oxandrolone. So if you look up the reasons for oxandrolone, okay, that's what's going to be for help you regain weight or muscle after you have weight loss due to surgery, trauma, severe infection, or long-term corticosteroid use. I don't know what the fuck that means, but whatever. It is what it is. Now, some steroids are never going to be illegal again. It's never going to be like it was before 1990 or whatever it was, 1991, where you go to a doctor, get a prescription for whatever you want. Okay, you're not going to get Aquapause. You're not going to get Winstrol because it is a veterinary drug, so you're not going to be able to get it. You're not going to get Tren. In order for the United States to have legal anabolic steroids with a prescription, there has to be a purpose behind it besides bodybuilding. So if they found out, like, for example, that Trembolone helps cancer patients, you bet your ass that the big pharma would take the Trembolone name off of it, call it something else, and market it to cancer patients, and they would charge the insurance companies a fucking fortune. That's how it works in the United States, okay? Big pharma is big money. So if there is no purpose besides bodybuilding, it is not going to be legal. But a handful of anabolic steroids are legal with prescriptions. I think that's as good as we're going to get it, personally. That's really what it comes down to. Now, the Kai Green thing was ridiculous. I don't know what the guy's doing. Whatever. He's very artsy. I would love to be in the audience when he did something like that, because I want to see the audience reaction. Because the audience reaction, it's got to be silent. It has to be. It has to be silent. Because they don't know what they're looking at. They think they're looking at Kai Green that's going to guest pose and come out like, a guest poser like maybe he used to do. But this time, and he didn't look like the Kai Green of old. I mean, he is 50, so maybe he used this artistic camouflage, if you will, to paint his body and look this strange way for art reasons, but really it covered up his bodily flaws. Not as he's 50 and not a competitive bodybuilder anymore, because you can't tell he's a bodybuilder with that thing on. I mean, with all that shit on, it just looks like a big dude with all that shit on him. I don't know, but I would love to be in the audience and see if it was actually silent, or not, because silence is not what you want from an audience. You're better off getting booed than having it silent, because if you're booed, people are going to be talking about it. If you're cheered, people are going to be talking about it. If there's no reaction, nobody's talking about it, unless you're a bodybuilding idiot like we are, talking about Kai's leopard spots, looking like the Emperor from Star Wars. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Well, I don't know what he's thinking, but whatever. I don't know, man. It's just not for me. Even when the guys pose like all artsy, I'm not into that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just not into that shit. Go figure. All right. Well, since we don't have any more questions, I think that ends another episode of Anabolic Academy. And once again, my shirts. Check it out. Where am I? Right here. Beer League Warriors Athletic Apparel. The link is in the description. Go and click the link. It's an Instagram link. DM it. Say you want the shirt, that size, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's a really nice shirt for really good prices. He's a friend of mine. He's just starting up his athletic wear. It's a really good shirt. Go buy one. It's not that expensive. What could it be? 25, 30 bucks tops. And it's one of those like no sweat shirts, like the sweat, it doesn't stick to you when you're sweaty, everybody kind of likes this material. It's very comfortable material. Just, do like you do with me, right? I mean, I'm a small podcast. I'm not Nick Strength and Power or hostile or anything like that. But I have, a bunch of people on here that are really good to me as far as, coming on and following me. Do the same thing to him. Go and buy a shirt, man. He's a college professor. He's extremely intelligent. He's trying to start a business clothing line. And we know how competitive it is. And I wouldn't plug it if I really didn't believe in it, because he is a friend. We did podcast together once. He has a great podcast, which the name escapes me right now. I know he's going to kill me. I'm going to get a text after this and be like, "You goddamn idiot, it's blah, 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 blah." Where we talk about mafia and the gangsters. And it was on my other channel. We actually talked about the real Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York, because that's how far back this guy studies like history. So the real Bill the Butcher, what was his name that played him? It was fantastic, man. That's what it's called. I'm sorry, Ryan. This is my friend, Ryan Pettengill. An offer you can't refuse. That's the name of the podcast. Yes. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Right. Just like, the line from The Godfather. Really interesting stuff. It's good stuff to listen to while you're like driving to work, or you just want to zone out. He has a great grasp of the English language, well spoken, because he's a college professor. He's not like me, who stutters and stammers like a goddamn idiot all the time. So go and buy one of his shirts. Again, the link is in the description, man. Beer League Warriors Apparel on IG. Do him a favor and do me a favor, and if you're gonna buy a shirt, skip Nike this week and buy one from Ryan. All right, guys, I'm done. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Later. Peace.